headquarters in New York. This is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. We begin tonight here with an alarming close call at Boston's Logan Airport. Two passenger jets, one with more than 300 people on board, just 125 feet from landing on the runway when another plane passes in front. It was a Delta flight from Paris on approach to Boston just moments from landing when another plane taking off crossed its path on an intersecting runway. Air traffic controllers jumping in to get the Delta plane to go around again. And this comes as the FAA tonight acknowledging critical staff shortages amid this government shutdown. Air traffic controllers not getting paid, many calling in sick. ABC's Matt Rivers leading us off tonight.
Tonight, the alarming close call for two passenger planes at Boston's Logan Airport. Listen to the moment two pilots realized they were on a possible collision course.
What the heck? That was close. Yeah, man, not cool.
A Delta flight from Paris with nearly 300 people on board coming in for landing yesterday, just 125 feet off the runway, about to touch down, just as a Cape Air flight was speeding down an intersecting runway taking off, according to Flight Radar 24. Suddenly, air traffic control noticed something was wrong.
Delta 263 Heavy, go around and turn 10 degrees left.
For Delta 263.
That Delta flight aborting its landing, climbing back into the air. The controller ordering that Cape Air flight to stay low.
Care, go low.
Going low.
Both planes coming within 3,800 feet of each other.
In this case, it looks like it was controller error, but it was also a good save by the controller when they realized the mistake had been made and made the Delta jet go around.
And tonight, dramatic new video showing the damage inside the cabin of a JetBlue flight to Newark that suddenly lost altitude while flying from Cancun. Video showing cracks where people hit the ceiling. Shelley Walsh says everyone in the aisle went flying.
It was such a violent, sudden drop. The flight attendant went completely horizontal, hit the ceiling, flew back down to the ground.
That flight making an emergency landing in Tampa. Several passengers and crew rushed to the hospital. No word yet what caused that drop in altitude. And as the country deals with the government shutdown, major flight disruptions nationwide due to critical air traffic control staffing issues and bad weather. Some 32 air traffic control facilities reporting shortages, and the list is growing. One FAA source telling ABC News it's the worst she's ever seen.
I'm also one of the millions affected by the shutdown's impact on air travel. After 4 canceled flights and hours of delays, it took me a full extra day to get from Chicago here to Newark.
In Orlando yesterday, the busiest airport in Florida, the FAA saying there were no controllers to land planes for a time before staffing was finally increased.
And David, there are thousands of flight delays and cancellations tonight, and that number only getting worse by the hour. And with no end in sight to this government shutdown, this chaos could likely last at least through next week. David?
Matt Rivers leading us off here on a Friday night. Matt, thank you. Now to the FBI tonight saying it thwarted a potential Halloween terror plot in Michigan, multiple arrests. The FBI says suspects had firearms training and that they had intercepted communications, including messages referring to Pumpkin Day. Here's our Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas, tonight.
In the early morning hours today, the FBI launching a series of raids in connection to what they feared was a deadly plot to commit mass murder on a Halloween weekend in Michigan. This video obtained by the TCD Dearborn News shows the tense moments as the FBI prepares to enter a home seeking evidence they believe was tied to the alleged plot, which a law enforcement source says may have been inspired by ISIS. FBI Director Kash Patel posting at 7:30 a.m. This morning, the FBI thwarted a potential terrorist attack and arrested multiple suspects in Michigan. Neighbors stunned and fearful with the news coming just hours before parents were to take their children out to trick-or-treat for Halloween.
This is very new and scary to me. It's like you're in a movie all of a sudden.
Sources telling ABC News for a number of months the FBI had been monitoring the communications of a number of suspected radicals using an online chat group. In recent weeks, those suspects had allegedly engaged in firearms training. And sources tell ABC News the decision was made to conduct raids after there was a reference to Pumpkin Day, which authorities feared meant Halloween. Those sources telling ABC News 2 suspects have been arrested, with 3 more being questioned, ranging in age from 16 to 20. David, although no charges were officially announced today, sources tell us they believe this was a potentially serious plot. But the FBI says the threat has been neutralized. So, David, it appears it's okay for kids in those communities to trick or treat. David?
Still alarming nonetheless, Pierre Thomas, thank you. Tonight, day 31 of this government shutdown, just hours before more than 40 million Americans were set to lose federal food assistance. A federal judge now ordering the Trump administration to use emergency funds to pay for it. And what President Trump said just before we came on tonight. Jay O'Brien back on the Hill again tonight.
Tonight, hours before the government shutdown would force critical food assistance to run out, a federal judge now ordering the Trump administration to use emergency funds, saying without the SNAP federal food program, some 42 million of the country's most vulnerable would face irreparable harm and terror over the availability of funding for food for their family. The administration arguing it's not legally allowed to use the money. Late tonight, President Trump saying he's instructing the government's lawyers to ask the judge how we can legally fund SNAP as soon as possible, saying if the court gives direction, it will be my honor to provide the funding. With benefits stopping this weekend, Martha Goodlatte in North Carolina, who gets nearly all of her food from SNAP, left in limbo.
Listen to me, in Washington, D.C., do not take away from us, please.
Keep going. Food pantries across the country now fear they'll be overwhelmed.
We know right now that we can't keep up and make up the difference.
You can't keep up with all of it.
We absolutely cannot.
After his administration moved money around to cover soldiers' paychecks this week, President Trump today pressed on whether he could do the same for SNAP.
Well, there always is, but all the Democrats have to do is say, let's go. I mean, they don't have to do anything. They don't have to agree. All they have to do is say, the government is open.
But Democrats holding firm for an extension of Obamacare tax credits to prevent health care costs for some 20 million Americans from skyrocketing. Insurance premiums for Stacey Cox and her husband set to quadruple to $2,000 a month. Tonight, sending this message to Washington.
Don't make us suffer while you figure it out. Don't make me live without health insurance while you guys figure out a better plan.
And David, tonight Republicans still refusing to negotiate while the government is shut down. Democrats saying they don't believe Republicans will negotiate at all, and they're forcing them to confront the issue now. Meantime, exactly 1 month into this shutdown, as critical programs like SNAP are on the line, members of Congress are still getting paid. Their next paycheck goes out tomorrow. David.
Americans fully aware of that. Jay O'Brien on this all week long. Thank you, Jay. Now to the deadly storms that slammed the Northeast. In New York City, a man was killed drowning when water flooded his basement apartment. Another man electrocuted as he tried to pump the water out. And tonight, the gusting winds up to 50 miles per hour on this Halloween night. Here's Stephanie Ramos.
Tonight, multiple people dead after torrential storms and high winds rocked the Northeast. 2 inches of rain falling in less than 2 hours. It was enough to overwhelm leaf-clogged storm drains all over New York City. Subway stations turning into waterfalls, city buses taking on water. In Brooklyn, a man drowned in his own basement apartment. He had gone back to try to save his dog that was still inside. And in Manhattan, a 43-year-old man was electrocuted while trying to pump out a flooded boiler room.
I'm really hurt. He is so nice. He's such a sweetheart.
Both locations listed in areas with, quote, minimal flood hazard, according to city and state flood maps.
Every single time when it rains, my heart and pressure goes up because I know what to expect.
The storms came with gusty winds that took down hundreds of trees all over the city. Surveillance video catching this one landing on a Jeep in Queens. And it wasn't just New York City. In Philadelphia, a woman was killed when a massive tree fell onto her car.
Definitely praying for that family.
And David, wind alerts remain in effect here in New York for gusts up to 50 miles an hour. Alerts all the way up to New England and into tomorrow. David.
Stephanie, thank you. Tonight, the death toll continues to rise following Hurricane Melissa's direct hit on Jamaica. Authorities confirming more than 50 dead now, mostly in Jamaica, after that Category 5 hurricane made landfall there. Emergency teams are still searching for possible victims. Relief supplies are being rushed to the island. More than 20 cargo flights expected to arrive today. Tonight, 24 hours after that announcement from Buckingham Palace, Prince Andrew soon no longer a prince. Tonight, the family of Virginia Giuffre now hoping King Charles will urge the U.S. government to release the Epstein files. Here's our chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katursky, tonight.
Tonight, 24 hours after King Charles stripped his brother Andrew of all his royal titles, the family of Andrew's accuser, Virginia Giuffre, is pushing for more.
He needs to be fully investigated and brought to some sort of account. We need the king. We really do. We need him to put pressure on our own government here in the United States to release the Epstein files.
For years, Giuffre claimed Jeffrey Epstein trafficked her for sex with Andrew when she was a teenager.
He knows exactly what he's done.
Andrew has long denied it, but Giuffre's family says the king's historic decision is vindication.
It was joy, but it was, sorrow, because she should be here in this victory, in this moment. It was everything that she was fighting for.
Andrew will soon have to move from his 30-bedroom mansion to Sandringham, the king's private estate north of London. Ex-wife Sarah Ferguson will no longer live with him. But even with his exile, the crown may not be able to escape the taint of Andrew's association with Epstein.
If more information does come out about Andrew's links with Epstein that is damaging, that's still going to reflect just as badly on the royal family, despite the fact that he no longer has titles.
You heard, David, how Virginia Giuffre's family is hoping King Charles can convince President Trump to release the Epstein files. There is a new Democratic congresswoman from Arizona waiting to be sworn in who would be the final signature needed to force a vote on the release of those records. House Speaker Mike Johnson is holding up swearing her in, blaming the government shutdown. David?
Aaron Kaczynski on the Epstein case again tonight. Thank you. Now to the roller coaster scare here in the U.S. 2 adult riders say a girl's seatbelt came undone and that they had to hold onto her as that ride reached speeds of up to 75 miles per hour. Here's Morgan Norwood.
Tonight, terrifying moments playing out close to 205 feet in the air after riders say a child's seatbelt became unlatched on the Mamba roller coaster in Kansas City, Missouri, captured in this photo.
The first drop halfway through the hill, I'm sorry, this is really emotional because this little girl, the scream that she screamed, I've never heard anything like that before in my entire life.
Cassie and Chris Evans say they were riding the Mamba at the Worlds of Fun theme park earlier this month when they heard the young girl's screams.
And then she said, my seatbelt came off. There was this big of a gap between her and the lap bar.
The Mamba, the park's tallest roller coaster, reaching speeds of 75 miles per hour. The two quickly clutching both the girl and her friend until the end of the 3-minute ride. Afterward, reporting the incident to a ride attendant. Tonight, a representative for Six Flags, the parent company of Worlds of Fun theme park, telling ABC News the park was closed briefly on Thursday while officials inspected the ride. Six Flags says 18 seatbelts were replaced out of an abundance of caution. According to the Missouri Department of Public Safety, more than 20 lap belts were not functioning properly when inspected that morning.
And David, the theme park says the safety of its guests and team members is a top priority, adding the ride underwent a comprehensive safety review before it opened to its guests last night. David?
Morgan Norwood, thank you. Overseas tonight, a horrific scene unfolding in Sudan. Allegations of genocide in Darfur. Mass killings reported over a 72-hour period. Rebels storming a hospital this week, massacring hundreds of patients, visitors, and medical staff. Reports of gunmen going door to door. Rebels claim they have captured the final holdout of the Sudanese army in Darfur. When we come back on this Friday night, the Halloween performance just in here tonight. You have to see it, and what so many of you did at home this week after something you saw right here. Who is our person of the week? Also more news ahead, the horrific scene at a school. Look at this. Police say a man crashed his car, then smashed a window to grab a young child right through that window, a teacher fighting him off. Also, there's been a deadly small plane crash in the Northeast. At least one person killed, that plane going down in front of a home right in the driveway. More news ahead in a moment here. Tonight, a man accused of crashing his car near a school and smashing a window to grab a preschool student in Chester, South Carolina. Investigators say Darius Edwards pulled the child through this shattered classroom window right here. Police say a teacher fighting off the suspect and a school officer using a taser on him. That child is in stable condition tonight. Police say Edwards did not know the child. He's now charged with kidnapping and assault. Tonight, a small plane crashing into the driveway of a home in upstate New York. One person is dead. Authorities say the plane clipped at the top of a tree shortly after taking off in Saratoga County. The plane narrowly missing the home. The pilot was killed. A passenger ejected with serious injuries tonight. When we come back here, a reported break-in. The NBA star on the court as thieves were allegedly in his home at the time. Also, the Halloween performance just in here tonight. You've got to see it, and what many of you at home did this week. The big reveal right here. Who is our person of the week? And a reminder about your clock this weekend in a moment. To the Index, the NBA star on the court while thieves were allegedly in his home just a few miles away. Police say they responded to a break-in at the home of Oklahoma City Thunder star Shai Gilgeous-Alexander Thursday night. Officers say the suspects got away before they arrived. No one was at home at the time. Shai was on the court just about 9 miles away at the Paycom Center. A reminder tonight as we head into the weekend, daylight saving time ends in the very early morning hours Sunday morning. That means clocks fall back by 1 hour, 2 a.m. Sunday. The good news is you gain an extra hour of sleep. When we come back here tonight, the Halloween performance playing out just moments ago, the video just in, and the big reveal here tonight, what many of you at home did this week. Who is our person of the week? Finally tonight here, the moms we're cheering for this Halloween and what you've done. Tonight on this Halloween, so many of you responding to something you saw right here this week. The Mombies, not zombies. They call themselves Mombies for a reason. They're raising money for breast cancer research. Vanilla Ice, Beyonce, Michael Jackson's Thriller, 50 moms in all from Fairfield, Connecticut, 10 years strong. And after our report this week, the Mombies telling us World News Tonight viewers donating more than $80,000. And one anonymous viewer then promising to match it, doubling it to more than 160 grand. And tonight, just in, they were getting ready for their big Halloween performance in Molly's kitchen. Suzanne doing Molly's makeup.
You do a scar like nobody else, don't you?
And many of these Mombies are not only supporters, but cancer survivors themselves. Cassandra.
Is being a Mombie extra special because you're a survivor?
It absolutely is.
And right here tonight, moments before they performed,
Hi, David.
the Mombies grateful to all of you at home.
We've just learned that thanks to ABC viewers, we're $50,000 shy of $1 million raised for Sloan Kettering metastatic breast cancer research.
And here it is, the Mombies moments ago performing to Lady Gaga in front of Town Hall in Fairfield. On this Halloween night, a message for all of you.
Thank you, ABC, and happy Halloween!
And so we choose the Mombies, mombies.org. I'll see you Monday. Good night.